It's one of the most emotionally devastating films ever made. A story so haunting and heartfelt, it leaves even the toughest viewers in stunned silence. The Green Mile isn't just a movie, it's a spiritual experience. But what if I told you that behind its familiar story lies a maze of secrets, hidden meanings, and near misses that almost changed everything? Cast revelations, deleted scenes, symbolism buried so deep even die-hard fans never caught it. By the time this story ends, you'll never watch The Green Mile the same way again. It's hard to believe now, but The Green Mile nearly didn't make it to theaters at all. After the commercial disappointment of The Shawshank Redemption, studios were reluctant to greenlight another long, emotionally heavy Stephen King prison drama. Even with Tom Hanks attached, the script's length sparked concern. At over 3 hours, it defied every Hollywood formula. Director Frank Darabont refused to cut it down. He believed every minute was essential, every scene a building block in a much larger emotional journey. That kind of stubborn vision almost sank the project, but it also saved it. Hanks's star power helped get the film approved, but it was Darabont's unwavering belief in the story that gave The Green Mile the power it has today. Unlike Shawshank, which was filmed in a real prison, The Green Mile's death row, known as The Mile, was built entirely from scratch. Production designer Terrence Marsh crafted it with eerie authenticity, even down to the green linoleum floors used in southern prisons during the 1930s. But this wasn't just set dressing. The entire corridor was designed to feel spiritually heavy. The further you walked, the darker it became, literally and emotionally. The infamous electric chair, nicknamed Old Sparky, was functional, rigged with lights and smoke effects that made execution scenes deeply unsettling, even for the actors. This wasn't just a set. It was a living, breathing character in the film. Before filming began, Darabont asked the cast to do something strange. Spend an entire afternoon in complete silence, each in their character's assigned place. Guards stood at their posts. Prisoners sat in their cells. No speaking, no direction, just existing. The exercise was simple, but the effect was powerful. The cast began to feel the claustrophobia, the repetition, the slow grind of time. When cameras finally rolled, that emotional weight translated into performances that felt disturbingly real. Actors weren't just playing roles, they were inhabiting lives. Many actors develop backstories for their characters, but on The Green Mile, it became an obsession. Tom Hanks imagined Paul Edgecombe as a World War I veteran, haunted by the horrors of war. That internal pain explained his disgust with cruelty and his quiet strength. Michael Clarke Duncan, meanwhile, studied patients in hospitals, people who needed care, who moved slowly, who felt everything deeply. You can see it in his performance. Coffey's childlike posture, his slow speech, his quiet intensity. Even Doug Hutchison, who played the deeply unsettling Percy, drew from a real childhood bully to capture that twisted sense of entitlement. These weren't just roles. They were lived experiences. Green isn't just a color in this film, it's a warning. It appears whenever death is near. The floor of the mile, the curtains in the execution chamber, the sponge used in executions, even reflections in characters' eyes. Most of us never consciously notice, but our brains pick it up. Green equals death, and the biblical symbolism runs even deeper. When Coffey says, "I'm tired, boss," tired of being on the road, it echoes Psalm 102, where a lonely soul compares himself to a bird alone on a rooftop. Coffey isn't just a character, he's a Christ figure. His suffering, his gentleness, his execution, it's all by design. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Mr. Jingles might seem like a quirky side character, but he's actually the film's moral compass. Who treats the mouse with kindness? Who doesn't? Dell, despite his crimes, protects him. Percy, on the other hand, tries to kill him for sport. Paul, at first indifferent, ultimately defends him, and that decision foreshadows his later choice to protect Coffey. The mouse is more than comic relief. He's a test, a symbol, a mirror of how each person treats the vulnerable. And by the film's end, when we see that Mr. Jingles has lived far beyond a normal mouse's lifespan, we realize he carries the same burden Paul does, a blessing and a curse from Coffey's touch. In The Green Mile, the weather isn't just background noise, it's storytelling. When Dell is executed in horror, a thunderstorm rages outside. When Coffey shares the truth with Paul, the air is eerily still. And when Coffee dies, it's a peaceful, moonlit night. But the most powerful use of weather comes in the final scene. When Paul visits Coffee's grave, it's the first time the sun truly shines in the film. For over 3 hours, we've lived in shadows and storms. That sunlight? It's not just weather, it's release, closure, peace, and most of us never even notice it. Coffee's final words are among the most gut-wrenching in film history. "I'm afraid of the dark." It's a simple line, but it changes everything. Despite his gifts, his strength, his healing power, he's scared. Like a child. Like all of us. It's that vulnerability that humanizes him completely. And when the guards remove the execution hood out of mercy, it becomes an act of love, not protocol. It tells us everything we need to know about who Coffee really was, and how much he meant to them. Percy and Wild Bill aren't just villains. They're two sides of the same evil. Percy represents systemic cruelty, privileged, protected, untouchable. Wild Bill is chaos, pure and violent. But the two are deeply connected. When Wild Bill whispers something horrifying to Percy, it psychologically shatters him. Later, when Coffee transfers Wild Bill's evil into Percy, driving him insane, it completes a poetic circle. One destroys the other. And Darabont refused to cut Percy's scenes, even when studios pressured him, because showing both kinds of evil was essential to understanding Coffee's moral sacrifice. Coffee's supernatural power is powerful, but it's not the real miracle. The true transformation happens in the guards. Men who began as obedient cogs in a brutal system slowly rediscover their humanity. Paul goes from rule follower to conscience-driven protector. By the end, they're willing to risk everything for one innocent man. That's the miracle. Awakening, moral courage, the ability to choose compassion in a system built to crush it. Coffee didn't just heal wounds, he healed souls. Studio execs wanted to end the film with Coffee's execution. They said the epilogue was unnecessary, that it dragged. Darabont said no, and thank God he did. That final scene, Paul in the nursing home carrying decades of grief, is what gives the story its true weight. It's not just about loss, it's about living with guilt, with memory, with the cost of conscience. Without that ending, The Green Mile wouldn't be a masterpiece. It would just be another sad story. Some moments never made the final cut. Paul's first day at Cold Mountain, more time with his wife Jan, scenes that showed how the job slowly broke him down. They were never released, but cast members have confirmed they existed, and knowing they were filmed adds new layers to what we already see. Paul wasn't always the man we meet, he became him. That transformation matters. So why does The Green Mile still matter today? Because it doesn't give easy answers. It doesn't preach. It shows us injustice, suffering, miracles, and asks us to sit with them. It trusts the audience to wrestle with the moral weight. It's about the systems we live in, and the small choices we make that either uphold cruelty or challenge it. The Green Mile endures because it's not just about death. It's about dignity, compassion,